Hello everybody, welcome to Shyam's Storytime. Today we will see another story of King Vikramaditya. Are you all ready? The name of today's story is Whose Sacrifice is the Greatest? So Vikramaditya once again came to the drumstick tree, picked up the corpse, hung it on his shoulders, and as he was walking towards the crematorium, the Vetala told him another story. The story went like this. Once upon a time, there was a king who ruled over a vast kingdom. He had many guards to take care of the king as well. One day, a new family came into this kingdom. There was a mother, father, a son, and a daughter. The name of the father was Veera. The father was a trained guard for the king. So Veera immediately went and met the king. He told the king that he was a trained guard and he would like to have a job at the king's court. He said he can be a personal guard for the king. He demanded that he be paid about 500 gold coins per day. The king wondered. The salary for this young fellow seemed to be on the higher side. The king was indeed interested in keeping him as his personal guard. So he told Veera, okay, you can start your job from today onwards. You will be paid on an everyday basis. From that day on, Veera was the king's personal guard. He would stay with the king for almost 20 hours in a day. Just 4 hours he would be let free, at which time he would go home, rest for a while, eat and come back. And again, he would be like the guard for the king. Wherever the king was, whether he's in the court or at his chambers or resting, he would be outside the door of the king's place. A few days passed by. He was paid every day as he demanded. The king sent some of his spies to find out about Veera, what he is doing with the money and is everything fine with him? Is he doing any other job? Like that, he wanted to know. So some of the spies went around and checked in a secret manner what Veera was doing. And they observed him for a few days, came back to the king and shared this. They said that Veera had a very close-knit family. So he had a wife, a son and a daughter, and all the four of them loved each other so much. And the 500 gold coins that he gets every day, portion of it he gives to the wife so she can run the family by buying different things. 200 gold coins he donates to the poor people. Another 200 he deposits at the temple. This is what the spies came and told the king. The king was very surprised. This seems to be a really interesting man. He has a lot of different things to do, he thought. The king also started to observe Veera whenever he is outside guarding him. He would look through the window to see what exactly Veera was doing. And the days when it was extremely hot and people would all find shade and come, Veera would not move. He would just be standing guard outside the king's chambers. One night it rained really heavily. The king looked through the window. Veera was completely drenched. He did not even wink his eye. He just kept guard at the king's palace. The king was very moved. One day, the king was interacting with Veera and suddenly they heard the wail of a woman. The king told Veera, quickly go find out who is crying, what is the problem. So Veera went and found out there was a woman who was crying. Veera went and asked her, what makes you cry, woman? Please let me know, I will help you. The woman said, I'm Mother Earth. Why are you crying? What's the problem? Our king here is going to die in 3 days. That is why I'm crying. Veera was taken aback. What is this? Is there a possibility to save the king? Can I do something? He asked. Mother Earth told him there is one way. If you sacrifice your son wholeheartedly, then you can save the king. Immediately he ran back to the king and said whatever Mother Earth said. And then he said, please give me leave. I will go fetch my son. The king was surprised. He wanted to see what exactly Veera was doing. He was not even able to believe Veera. He just waited for Veera. Mother Earth had also said that Veera should sacrifice his son at the Kali temple. Veera rushed to his home and told his wife all that happened. Wife said, why are you hesitating? Quickly pick up our child, go and sacrifice him. Our king's life is more than anything for us. Veera immediately woke up his sleeping son. The son woke up and asked, what is it, father? He told him everything. Dear father, please sacrifice me. Please kill me to save the king. Immediately, Veera picked up the child and they both walked towards the Kali temple. The mother and daughter also followed them. By then, the king had also come to the temple and he was hiding and watching what's happening there. Veera just prayed to goddess Kali, and just in one shot he chopped off his son's head. The son was dead. He was so happy our king should be saved, he thought. His daughter, who was looking at it, she was very close to her brother. She could not take the fact that her brother had died. She snatched the sword from father and she cut herself also. She lay down dead. Veera's wife, looking at both her children, even though she knew that her husband was sacrificing her son for the safety of the king, somewhere within her the motherly instinct was there. Now seeing both her children dead, she just fainted. She also died out of grief. Now Veera saw all the three family members dead. He decided that there was no use living this life. I have done my job. I have saved the king. Now let me also kill myself. He just killed himself and lay down dead. The king, who was hiding and watching all of these, he came out in front of goddess Kali. He prayed to the goddess and said, "What has happened to this family? I am unable to take the fact that they've all sacrificed their lives for me." He just took the sword from the hands of Veera's body. He also killed himself. This is the story that the Vetala told the king. And now the question that the Vetala asked was this: whose sacrifice is the greatest? Is it Veera's sacrifice, his wife's sacrifice, or his children's sacrifice, or is it that of the king? That was the question asked. Now Vikramaditya thought for a moment. Can he be quiet? If he knew the answer and he stayed quiet, his head would burst into a million pieces. He was not ready for that. But if he opened his mouth and spoke, the Vetala would fly back to the tree. King Vikramaditya said the following answer: the king's sacrifice is the greatest of all. Veera and his family members sacrificing is a great thing, but it is their duty to safeguard the king's life. They can sacrifice theirs. But the king need not give up his life for the sake of his subjects. So it is the king's sacrifice that is the greatest, claimed King Vikramaditya. Hearing this, the Vetala disengaged itself from King Vikramaditya, flew back to the same drumstick tree. Now King Vikramaditya, being the person that we know, he once again walked back to the tree to fetch the corpse. But we will see that in the next episode. Do you all like today's episode? If you did, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shyam's Storytime. You will have access to all the stories that I upload. Every Saturday, you get to hear a story of King Vikramaditya. And on Sundays, there is a Panchatantra tale in Tamil for you. Listen, watch and enjoy. I hope you all liked today's story. My name is Shyamla and I am a passionate storyteller. I will meet you in the next episode.